Alternatively, you could enter those as positive, put a negative in front of the function. And I don't want you to even remember any of that. I already entered that formula here. Come on. Come on. This is one of the reasons I actually never buy Microsoft stock. I don't like that company. That's a stupid reason why not to buy a company's stock, but I can't bring myself to do it. When Microsoft was first started in 1978, they did a deal to write an operating system for an 8-bit computer. It was an Atari. And in 1982, when IBM came up with PCs, when they came up with PCs, they viewed that as a kind of a side business. They were making most of their money from mainframe computers, which sometimes were as big as this room. And they had memory of maybe 256 megabytes. Really big ones had one gigabyte memory. Now this thing has 16 gig memory. Anyway, and when you write an operating system, as far as computational science is concerned, you write it in the assembly language. That's the most efficient way of doing it, and you optimize it for that computer. The assembly language for an 8-bit computer is very different from a 16-bit computer. I don't know how, I just know it is. But Bill Gates was a consummate businessman. He figured, man, they're not also used to 16-bit because it was kind of a new chip those days. It's like if you had a 128-bit chip right now, that's how you would have felt. And they said, all we have to do is write code to tell IBM PC you're an Atari. Okay? In computer lingo, that's called an emulator. The computer starts, and that code says you are an Atari. So it basically gives system specifications for an Atari. As soon as that code is executed, the computer believes that it's an Atari. And then they already have the code for the operating system. Boom. So they finished quickly, they got the contract, and the rest is history. But yes, that is mathematical way of thinking about stuff. You reduce the problem to things you know how to do. They already had solved the problem of an operating system for an Atari. So they treated this problem as if it's an equation solution problem. Just make the problem into an Atari problem and you have a solution for it. Unfortunately, that's in the corporate culture of that company. By the way, would any of you buy the stock of these guys? Microsoft's people in 1978. These are the first 11 employees. Look at Bill Gates. And I think that's Paul Allen. And look at all these guys. That guy, you wouldn't know whether he was actually acting in 70s porn or he was actually a programmer. And you can see from hairstyle, it's mid to late 70s. Would you actually buy the stock from these guys? I'm sure you wouldn't. But if you bought one share of Microsoft in 1984, let me actually show you that. This is adjusted for stuff. Historical data. Oh, not that one. Come on. Max. In 86, okay. Apply. Okay. We're gonna look at the adjusted close. Back in, right now it's almost $400. Still hasn't done it. Oh, let me download it. It's easier to look that way. I know. Since this is something I'm doing just for once, I don't worry about efficiency too much. Come on, open it. Did I click on open it? Maybe I haven't. I don't know you. Doesn't seem to want to open it. Okay. Let's do the end date to 1987. Come on, Max. Still hasn't opened it. It's not what I want. Now maybe you can look it up from here. I'm just gonna close it. Alright. The idea is that your $1 probably is about 20,000 right now. But looking at those guys, you probably wouldn't have bought it. Now let's go back to our thingy. I already set things up, and now it opens it. It only got 1 year. I don't know. There are certain things. When we're dealing with the simple stuff, which means given the inputs like the interest rate, the frequency, periodic payment, length, and balloon of starting, we want to be in setup mode. That means, given the inputs, this left-hand side tells me what is the present value or future value. And this determines that. If this is a green check mark, we're dealing with future value. Double click on it, otherwise we're dealing with present. I set it up so that those tags are conveniently changed. Again, when we're dealing with present value, that's called the balloon payment, otherwise starting balance. So let's ask a simple question. I got nothing now and I plan to save $500 a month for the next 40 years, and I believe I can earn 8%. I'm gonna think in terms of inflation adjusted terms. On an after inflation basis, historically, we could earn about 8% if you invest it into something like S&P 500. Right?